Welcome back to the Redshirt Culture Podcast. Today we'll be talking about baseball and how it's closer to a potential return, and then we'll talk a bit about basketball. We'll take a closer look at what the bubble is actually going to look like, and then Tanner will detail his trip to the bush over this past weekend, and then I'll talk about my devastating tennis match that I endured yesterday. Welcome to episode 6. Today it is June 18th, 10:32 a.m. Beautiful morning. I'm Stefan, and I'm here with my good friend Tanner. And how are you doing today on this fine Thursday morning?
Oh, I've been upgraded. I noticed last week you only called me your good friend, but in all the previous podcasts, you called me your good friend. So I'm glad to hear that I've been upgraded back to a good friend.
I only said one good yesterday.
Yeah, last
week.
Yeah, last week we recorded. You only said one good, so I kind of thought like the friendship was over.
Yeah, maybe because you didn't show up to a team Zoom meeting, but that's beside the point. Maybe we'll touch on that a bit later. But yeah, on this episode, we aren't going to start off talking. Normally, we talk about how I got packing some protein powder in there. Tanner just took a big gulp of whatever's in that. But
rocket fuel.
Yeah, we're gonna
mutant mass gainer.
We're gonna wait to talk about what our last weeks have looked like until the end. There's a lot of sports news that we have to get to, but it'll be good at the end. But we'll start with baseball first. It's been up and down the entire last week or so, but we're a positive pod. We're a PP. We're a positive pod. And I thought
we're a PP, but no P word.
Yeah, no, we're not allowed to say the P word. Just positive. Positive's the P word. And I thought we'd start off with something positive. Marcus Stroman. If you don't know, he's been on Twitter. He's been reaching out to people in the Tampa community, asking if these youth teams want him out to talk about pitching, to talk about baseball or life in general. And yesterday, he went out to a 9-year-old team's practice in Tampa, and he was teaching some of the pitchers, and then he threw batting practice, I believe, which was kind of cool to see. It's cool to see him using his platform and everything. And the thing that I was laughing about is that there's a video that came out of him racing one of the kids. He gave one of these kids a little head start, and
this I'm sorry, go ahead.
It reminded me of I think last year when we had a joint practice with the youth program that's kind of related to our track program, and when you were nearly pulled your quad from trying to catch up to these little kids. But yeah, so Stroman gave him probably nearly a full base length head start. Was able to catch him, nearly tore his ACL around third base. But
I was watching, like, this kid is going D1 after this. He was actually fast for a 9-year-old. He was really fast.
From second to third, his legs were moving so quick.
Yeah, he held him off. It was like, I'm watching it right now. That's what I'm looking at. It was really impressive.
And then he ate it. He ate it. Poor guy.
But, yeah, right at the end.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool to see some player, and the negotiations are so divisive kind of, so it's kind of good to see.
What are these guys doing at a full practice in Tampa? We got like 15 kids hugging and celebrating, and like everyone hanging out there.
I mean, Florida is a different country, so
yeah, that's actually true.
Well, I think a lot of baseball teams are, I don't know about where we are, but I know in Ohio there's some teams that are getting together now, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of not the best thing to see when Florida cases are at like an all-time high. But hopefully they were all socially distant. Anyways, we'll get to these negotiations a bit, and to MLB's credit, they actually did, I would say, make a good faith offer yesterday. But we'll kind of go back to June 10th. So that was the day of the draft, which was, I actually had quite a bit of fun watching, even though it was flawed in itself, but it was enjoy just because a bunch of players got screwed just because it was only 5 rounds. But I enjoyed watching it. I thought ESPN did a good job covering it. And but anyways, on that day, Rob Manfred said that there was 100% going to be a season. And we kind of knew that already, just based on the March agreement that said that Manfred can implement a season whenever he wants. Get that little smirk on your face right now. I mean, I'm just speaking facts right now. So Manfred can implement like a 48-game season whenever he wants. So we kind of knew that most likely there was going to be a baseball season regardless. And then after that was said, MLB offered the third proposal that was essentially the same as the first two. Obviously, there were some differences, but each proposal was roughly the same, just said in a different way. And then the players finally kind of had enough, and there was a memo put out by the Players Association that was just saying, we're sick and tired of these bad faith negotiations. Tell us when and where. Like, we're tired. We're kind of done negotiating. It's kind of like negotiating to a brick wall, like you said on a previous episode. And we want to play baseball and just implement that 48-game season. And then we'll file a grievance if we have to. And that leads to Monday. And on the Return to Sports special on SportsCenter, Manfred has an interview. Manfred just looks so distressed when he's on camera.
Well, I would be too if I was him.
Yeah, I'll get to a bit of that later. I actually kind of feel bad for him. We'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, on that special, he's like, I'm less confident now. And the reason why he said that is because the players come out and say, or the association comes out and says, tell us when and where. So Manfred has the ability to implement that 48-game season, but we're still kind of early on to implement that. So the owners need to stall a bit in order to kind of get in that right time frame of a 48-game season. Because if you implement a 48-game season right now, there still would be a lot of time on the back end of that. So it would kind of show that they're not trying to play the most amount of games as possible. And then after that, there's a lot of players tweeting out, like really going hard on social media, just tell us when and where. And for the first time, it looked like the players had pretty much all of the public's support. Like you don't really see that. You've never really seen that. And I think social media has definitely helped it. I think over the course of the entire 3 months at this point, has shown that the players have been able to get more and more support. And then it kind of hit a tipping point, I guess, yesterday. And John Heyman, no one likes this guy. No one likes this guy because he always tries to be first. I don't know what we have.
Good Twitter follow for the laughs.
Yeah.
But...
So he tweets out the first thing he tweets out. So the first thing he tweets out is that Manfred and Tony Clark were meeting in person in Phoenix. And this good news, like they're not just sending shots on Twitter at each other. And so this is good. And then he tweets out, just they're close to an agreement, and like everyone, like I think has like 17,000 retweets, 30,000 likes or something. I was super excited. I jumped the gun. I gave away my best meme. You know that video. I think I got my swagger back. Oh. You know that video.
Yes.
I used that.
After that impersonation, yes.
I used that. I jumped the gun. So and then
You gonna cry?
and then like a bunch of then actual reports like Jeff Passan, who's awesome, who's our Woj. It came out that they weren't actually close, and the Players Association actually like tweeted out, "We do not have an agreement." So, and then over the course of the day, there's kind of leaks about what the actual proposal looked like. So it was going to be 60 games, full prorated, which was big. Like, that's what the players have been fighting for this entire time. And it was good to actually see MLB willing to do that. And it showed that the owners were willing to budge a bit. But for me, I think the biggest thing right now is the grievance. Like MLB wants the players to waive the grievance, which essentially means that the union wouldn't be able to file a grievance for bad faith negotiation. And I don't know about you, but it kind of looks like the owners kind of think that they were negotiating in bad faith the entire time, which is why they want to file this. But I don't know. I've talked a lot. I don't know if you have anything you want to add, and then we can kind of go into a bit of the funny nuggets that have come out throughout the past couple of weeks.
I think in all of this, I honestly, like we talked about a little bit before there, I really do kind of feel bad for Manfred because he's kind of just stuck in the middle. Like, I really do think it's the owners and then the players causing all the problems. And now Manfred's getting this. He has to take all the heat. He takes all the heat in the media. He's not exactly doing maybe the best job, but I think he's still just in a really tough position. And throughout it all, I can't help but just kind of almost pity him a little bit.
Yeah. He gets so many ricochet shots.
Yeah, I agree.
On in his interviews, he just looks so sad. Like his eyes just roll all over the place. I feel bad for the guy. Just people have been saying like he doesn't even like baseball, and
probably not anymore.
Yeah, maybe not. He wants to get. I think his contract is up in 2024. He might move to Barbados to get But I disagree with that sentiment. Sure, he's not handling this the greatest. Sure, he's not the best public speaker. Sure, he didn't handle the Astros cheating scandal the best. But if you've seen
all those minor flaws, if you just ignore those little things he did wrong,
just take all that out.
just take it, go like this,
and you still won't find anything that great, but you'll see that he's trying to.
That was my notes. Kind of need this.
You'll see that. You'll see that despite the public perception of some of his things, I think he truly is trying to make the game better. Like, you may disagree with the 3-batter minimum rule, you may disagree with the pitch clock, but he is trying to implement those things because he thinks that it will improve the game, it will bring more fans to the game. And while I disagree with something like the 3-batter minimum, him thinking something will help improve the game shows that he actually kind of cares. So that's kind of why I feel bad that people are saying he hates baseball. But I think the owners are the ones that some of these owners hate baseball. Like there was a report yesterday that
I don't even think that's an exaggeration, though. Like, I actually think, especially with a lot, like even in other of the sports leagues, there's owners now who maybe have inherited the team or they bought it with business partners. They don't really like it. They don't really have an interest. Think of
absolutely.
like the New Orleans Pelicans owner.
Yeah.
They just have it because that, like, they only care about the Saints. Maybe
Yeah.
Zion improved that a little bit, but
Yeah.
like that's a side point.
But yeah, exactly. Like there was a report that 6 to 8 teams, 68 owners are willing to just cancel the season.
Yeah.
Like, it just shows that they're not invested in the long term growth of the game, and they're very short sighted. It appears. And then there's just throughout the week there's just so many funny things that came out, like like Paul DeWitt, I think his name is the Cardinals owner, and he also appeared in the Sosa McGuire 30 for 30, and I just wanted to knock his face in when I saw him. But he essentially said that owning a baseball team isn't as profitable as it seems. I mean, the valuation of your team has literally gone up tenfold.
Yeah, how is that even possible? Just sell the stupid thing.
But that's the thing, though. They're not going to sell because the teams are cash cows.
But it's a bad business.
Yeah. And then the this is the best part. And like a couple days later, a TBS deal that is worth $1 billion comes out. Oh, owning a team's not profitable. So I thought that was a little fun to see. But I get we'll wrap up kind of here. I think at this point the biggest thing, I think for sure, I think there's going to be a season barring. I mean, I guess you can't. Corona is very prevalent still, and I don't think anything's for certain.
I saw a tweet by our friend Jeff Sargent, said Las Vegas had 362 new coronavirus cases last week.
Yeah, so you can't even say, and we'll touch on this a bit in the NBA, but you can't say that there will be a season. But I'm honestly pretty confident that there will be. The way I kind of see it is, so the owners have offered this, they've given in and they have offered the prorated for 60 games. Now, Buster only tweeted this morning that up to 70 games, it would be an increase in around 250 million total in player salaries. So if you keep the full prorated, which isn't that much, and if you think about it, the grievance that the owners are trying to get the players to waive, it's been reported that it's probably would be around $1 billion total. So just thinking back to my education, a little risk analysis, a little probability action. So I honestly think that the grievance for the players to win, I think it would be less than 50%, just given some of the language in the March agreement. So say it's 25%, because that's kind of $1 billion is 250 million. Not quick math, not a big deal. And that's like kind of equates to the 250 million of the 60 to 70 increase. So once, obviously there'll be lawyers working for the owners, there'll be lawyers working for the Players Association. That will kind of dictate the percentage of the grievance actually going through. So once those two meet in the middle, that's kind of where I think the season will be. And a lot of people are saying it'll be like 66 games or whatever. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Just, I think it's all based on the grievance at this point, and we'll kind of go from there. But one more thing.
Oh.
They're meeting in Phoenix, and there's a man by the name of Cole Tucker who lives in Phoenix. Cole Tucker is the happiest man on the world, and he's a baseball player. His smile, His smile could bring back baseball. So Tony Clark, Players Association, bring Cole Tucker into that meeting with Mr. Manfred. Get all the owners on a Zoom meeting and just let Cole smile. Just let Cole smile, and that's going to bring baseball back. That's all you need. So I think that's going to bring baseball back. Get Cole Tucker in that meeting. He lives in Phoenix. He's ready to go, and Cole's going to bring baseball back. So Tony, please do that. But we'll get to basketball now. I've been waiting. I think we're gonna have different opinions on this, but I've been waiting for some Kyrie Irving takes to get out of you. So I'll just leave the floor for you.
Yeah, I think like if I don't even know where to begin with Kyrie. So first off, many of you who know me know that I'm a gigantic Kendrick Perkins Twitter fan. He has some just electric content on there. He's had some really good zingers with Kevin Durant. He's had some good dialogue with LeBron James. He's got
Tyson
a couple
Fury. Tyson Fury.
Oh yeah.
Let me put my paws on.
Okay, so when Kendrick Perkins watched the Tyson Fury fight, when Tyson Fury, I guess he knocked out Deontay Wilder, I think. He was trying to defend Deontay Wilder and said, "Nice fight. However, let me get in the ring and we'll see what you can do when I put these paws on you." It's like, okay, Kendrick, you are an old retired guy who takes selfies like this for Twitter. I don't think you have a chance in the ring. But we were talking earlier. He went on ESPN and pretty much described Kyrie Irving in one sentence. All you need to know. And that if you took Kyrie Irving's brain and put it in a bird, the bird would fly backwards. That's
disrespectful.
Elegant, simple. What can I say? I used to think that Kyrie did it as a joke and that he was just like, he was just really intelligent, sophisticated. He did it because he was funny. Now, I know that's not true. I know it's real. This is what he actually thinks. And he's just like an odd guy. Like the whole flat earth thing, he did it, I hope, to be sarcastic and to be a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke, I think.
But he still like did it in a dumb way. And he was kind of just like, oh yeah, whatever. It wasn't like a total like funny joke. Then he goes on and he comes out with this latest stuff. And it, I don't know. You can say it. I don't even know.
A lot of people are clowning him. But what he said is important to think about, I think. Like
a new league?
No, not that part. That wasn't even true. That's fake news. Did you? Yeah, that was leaked, and apparently he left the Nets group chat because there's a mole in the Nets group chat that leaked that. That wasn't even true.
Who's the mole? Spencer Dinwiddie? He's probably trying to get his clout back. He's trying to get it back after the failed Bitcoin GoFundMe fundraise.
Yeah. But what Kyrie was saying is he said it in a very Kyrie way.
Okay, if I was on the Nets, I would be a mole for Kyrie. He shows up at the team. The team made the playoffs. They were really good. And he says, yeah, we have like a couple good pieces, but the management really needs to bring in some firepower so that we can actually be good. Are you kidding me? You think Jared Allen's going to take that?
Yeah. Jared Allen, the GOAT. But what he said, I think, is important to think about. Like, I think players should be able to have the decision if they want to go down or not, which I think they do actually, but they just won't be paid. But I think it's important. I mean, he's the vice president of the Players Association, so I think it's important for him to raise concern. Like people like Kendrick and Paul Pierce, they have become what they hated as players. They've become like players don't like media that bashes them. And I promise you, Paul Pierce, and when everyone made fun of Kendrick Perkins he didn't like that very much. And now he's become what he feared. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I do agree that I think, like, at the end of the day, they can't force people to play if they don't want to play. And I think that if they don't want to go, maybe they don't get paid. But you can't, like, what are you going to say? That you're going to let them go or release them, or I don't know. You have to at least kind of give them the option, because I know even like Damian Lillard had said the same thing too. If he didn't have a chance of the playoffs, he was like, I don't want to go play in a bubble and I don't want to do it. But what kind of surprised me was, I almost gave it more credibility, was when someone like Dwight Howard said it. Considering he's on the team that's the favorite to win the whole thing, and he actually plays a decent role. And he said, for those of you who don't know, he said that he wouldn't want to play.
And a teammate of LeBron's.
And he's a teammate of LeBron's. That's actually like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, so, and Pat Beverly.
I saw that.
Pat Beverly summed it up nicely.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was like, I think that was like in a very passive aggressive manner, honestly. Like whatever LeBron wants, he gets. That's kind of how I read the tweet. But yeah,
for those of you who didn't read it, it was along the lines of, don't kid yourself. We all know that if King James says he's playing, we all playing.
Yeah. And what Kyrie was also saying was about like being a distraction for like the movement, that's the Black Lives Matter movement that's been going on. And I think that kind of holds true, honestly, because the way that they're planning on doing these games, you're going to have like 6 games in a day, back to back to back. Like, I feel like that could actually be a distraction. I guess it's important for, I wouldn't even put the onus on the players. I would just say fans to make sure to stay in tune with what's going around in the world. And because, the players will keep speaking out on it, even during the bubble and everything, but it's important for the fans. And I think it would be sad if the fans just use basketball to distract themselves from everything.
I think a way around that too is not to put, like you said, the onus completely on the players, but even how Austin River, who I'm not a huge fan of, had the argument of, well, some of us need the money to go back and we need the platform, and then we can showcase and promote the movement. But you can also, if you're playing these back-to-back games and you have the attention of millions across America, across the world, you can have elements in every single game to just continually bring up and remind everyone that this is what's most important right now, and do different things for the Black Lives Matter movement. And I don't really know how that would look, but it could be another way on like a really big stage to continually remind people of it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's well said. But we'll kind of shift to talk about a bit about the bubble itself. And first things first, Shams just busted Woj on all the information on this. And I'm not going to say it, but I think this is perfect time to talk about my Woj for Shams reality show.
No.
Like, this is perfect timing. I assume they'll both be in the bubble. Get those cameras moving. But yeah, so Shams just had all this information on it. And there's there's a lot of good stuff in here. But like the anonymous hotlines was funny.
Yeah.
And that was pretty good. And then we had this thing about the Magic bands. So I'm woke on the Magic bands, all right? So right now it's saying that these things are serving as a room key, security checkpoints, and are going to be used for like coronavirus testing check-ins. And, I've been watching Edward Snowden's interview on Joe Rogan. I'm a little woke on this. I think the NBAs are going to use these Magic bands to spy on the players, honestly. So I think Chris Paul, president of the Players Association, should contact Ed and call him up and see what's up. There's just so many things that are going to go into it, and it's just and that. The fact that the further you move along, you can bring guests into the into the bubble. Like Tyler Hero's going to be in a game 7 and drop 46 just so he can get his girlfriend into.
Yeah, like they've covered everything from, like you said, the magic band to anonymous hotlines to if you want to play ping pong, you have to make sure it's singles and not
Yeah.
doubles. They
But
literally thought of everything.
I've never played ping pong with doubles though.
Yeah, I know. That's whack. I don't know who's like, if you need a partner, honestly, you should be back in the training grounds.
But my favorite thing might have just been the fact that the hotels are just based on your record. So, I was thinking of how we can talk about that. We're going to become Trivago today. We're going to review these 3 hotels, and this might be an absolute train wreck, but we're going to try. I'm going to screen share and see how this is going to work. All right. So the first one is the Grand Destino, which is the top seeds of the tournament. All right. So the Grand Destino, I don't know why it says Coronado Springs. This is the Grand Destino. So celebrate the unique blend of Spanish, Mexican, and Southwest American cultures at the newly reimagined Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. This beautiful lakeside oasis offers classic influences, Disney touches, and modern comforts to energize and inspire as you delight in an array of new features, eateries, and enhancements.
So basically, the Grinders just like they get the worst hotel, and they have just more adversity to overcome.
I wouldn't say this is the worst, or I wouldn't say the yacht club's the worst hotel.
Okay, keep going.
I've done a little research already, so I think this is one of the boring ones, honestly. But there's that lake. There's a water slide with a Mayan pyramid. We'll get to the pictures afterwards.
This is going to be like Banana Boat 2.0. We're going to see LeBron, AD, and Rondo slide down there as a big train, like Human Centipede style.
And then fitness center, so LeBron can get his work in. In-room celebrations, we unfortunately can't use that.
What? So he can take some more of these selfies? Can't believe this is my life.
Yeah, and the in-room celebrations, unfortunately, we can't use because you're not allowed to go into each other's hotel room. But it's a good spot. We'll look at the gallery. Oh,
whoa!
But where's the slide? Like you would get clotheslined from those branches.
This is so cool. Okay, go a little farther. Let's see. That's it for the pool?
Yeah, there was only one picture for the pool.
Whoa.
Some of these places, the tapas steak and seafood. That's nice. The rooms are kind of lacking.
Yeah, they actually are.
Like that's
honestly, that's not even as nice as the hotel in Calgary we stayed at for Can West.
Yeah. Oh, is that's a big gift shop. What the heck? All right. So that was the Grand Destino. What's the next one? The Grand Floridian.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
let's say who gets to stay in that first one.
Oh, yeah. So it's the Bucks, the Lakers, the Raptors, the Clippers, the Celtics, the Nuggets, the Jazz, and the Heat. So wow. I'm surprised they didn't disrespect the Raptors just because we're from Canada. But all right. So the Grand Floridian, the Thunder, the 76ers, the Rockets, the Pacers, the Mavs, Nets, Grizzlies, and Magic. It's a good crew. I mean, the Magic don't fit in that one bit, but
no.
All right, so this is the Grand Floridian. Oh, Victoria.
How far away do you think they are?
I think. Well, this is on the water too, so
I think they're all like relatively close.
Probably. Why? You think they're gonna break the bubble and go meet up with each other?
I don't know.
All right, so this is a Victorian place. Sophistication. I'm surprised they didn't give this one to LeBron.
LeBron.
I think this.
You know that Joel Embiid's going to be indulging in a luxurious massage while he watches the fireworks over Cinderella Castle.
Look at the name of this: the Bibbidi Boobidi Boutique. So it looks like they have a good boutique.
Okay, they have a water slide,
but it's not 180
feet.
Someone's gonna get hurt on that. some exquisite dining. We can't use. Ooh, Seven Seas Lagoon. That's
Okay,
not
let's
too
see.
bad.
Let's see some
Let's
images.
look at the pictures. Oh, that's a video we can. All right.
Wow.
Man, these pictures are kind of lacking. I kind of want a closer. Oh, you could get some good trick shots in the bubble there. From the top rope, get a hoop in there.
So I guess like it's only going to be them, right? Because there wouldn't be any other guests. It's just going to be NBA athletes.
Except for the other like employees, like the Disney employees.
Yeah.
That was another point of contention, because they're not subject to the same testing and stuff like that. So, well,
like the stuff that's going to come out on the different social channels while these like players are staying in the same place is going to be out of this world.
Yeah. Nice boats. That's not too bad. All right, so that was the second tier. I kind of like the yacht club, honestly. I was taking a bit of a okay.
Okay, wait. Do you see this Nick's meme tweet?
No.
Nick's gets to stay in a motel in a box on the street.
Good. All right. I'm not signed in. All right, the yacht club. The yacht club is the basement, but I kind of like the yacht club, honestly. There's some good. Oh, actually,
there's some good teams.
Back to the Grand Floridian for a second. Those boats can be getaway boats. Where do you think that water connects? You think that can get to the ocean? But yacht club. So the Blazers, the Canes, the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Suns, and the Spurs do not fit in with this young group.
No. The rest of it's like a party group. That'd be pretty fun. The Suns,
this is the yacht club. New England style yacht club. Relax at an inviting elegance of plush lobby. What does that even mean? Plush lobby replete
with nautical touches.
Whoa. This is the best part. There's a Skyliner transportation. There's a gondola at the hotel. This is perfect getaway. This is how Zion's gonna get.
That kind of looks like Zion up there in the picture of the cart.
That's sweet. You get a gondola, and then outdoor water recreation. Doesn't look like there's any.
Discover a life-size shipwreck.
You think that's real? Is that a bad sign, you think?
I think it's actually like Captain Hook's ship.
Probably. Oh, dog-friendly accommodations. This should be Tyler Hero's spot. Because he's a dog. Nice steakhouse. Hopefully.
Need more room. Why would they need more room?
Is that a shot at Zion?
Yeah. Need more room? ? We offer extra large beds.
And the wonderful world of wine. Thank goodness LeBron's not here. He would have indulged himself way too much. Because we all know LeBron loves his wine.
Okay, let's hit up the images. I'm ready for the images.
All right. Oh, only 5. This kind of looks weak inside.
Yeah, it's not as nice. That's it.
Oh, whoa. What's that thing?
Huh.
The gondola is huge, though. Oh, there's rooms. Oh, whatever.
So, who's the most likely to sneak out?
I mean, James Harden's like an obvious. He loves the club. But I mean, I think Tyler Hero is a big underdog. I don't know about you, but
wait, were the Wizards on the list?
Yeah, they're in the last one, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, it's John Wall for sure.
I don't think he's going to go down though.
Can't even get him out.
Yeah, because that's part of the reason why the Kyrie incident was confusing, because Kyrie's not even allowed to go down to Orlando.
Yeah.
So I assume John Wall's not going to be down there, but John Wall's in shape now. Don't disrespect him. But I think that kind of wraps everything up. My last note was spying on the players, but I think we already have Edward Snowden for that. So I think that's mostly what we wanted to say about anything. We probably forgot something about basketball or baseball, but whatever. I've been waiting for this moment for a
now
while.
for the real meat of the podcast, as they say, the
Give-
filet mignon.
Give me this camping trips.
Okay, so I originally wanted to set up a camping trip with Jake, the famous Jake, who we got stuck with in the truck and went fishing with earlier. And so I was planning one for this weekend. And then he gets back to me and he says, okay, yeah, I think that will work, but I'll have to be back on the 14th for my flight. So right away, it's like red flag. What do you mean your flight? Where are you going? There's nowhere to go right now. And then he tells me that he's decided he's going to go tree planting. So I think to myself, like, this is too good to be true. I can't pass this up. I have a friend of mine from high school who tree plants at the same camp. And I said, okay, I'll drive you. And so this tree planting camp is like an hour-ish, hour and a half north of Prince George. So from where I live,
which is about 8-hour drive from where we live, north.
Or more. Like from my house to the tree planting camp is like 9 hours, straight uphill the whole way.
Because when you drive north, it's all uphill.
Yeah, exactly. So we meet up Friday morning. He gets dropped off. He's got all his bags. He's got a bag full of headlamps. He's got a bag full of buffs. He had a bag with, I'm not kidding, 500 granola bars in it. It was like a duffel bag with only granola bars. So we load up all his junk into the truck and then off we go. So we're driving up. It was like a really cool drive. I've never really actually been that way up there. And we decided that we were going to camp Friday night and Saturday night before I drop him off on Sunday, which was the 14th. So we wanted to meet up with our friend Cole, who lives in Quesnel. We've heard of Quesnel the last 4 years, the infamous Quesnel, and we decided we were going to camp at a pretty famous canoeing spot called Bowen Lakes. So we get up there, we meet Quesnel, or we meet Cole and we get up there, we meet Cole and Quesnel, and we get to see his house, get to see his hair. Hasn't had a haircut in about 11 months, so he looks out of control. And then we load him up. The city of Quesnel, I think, has 7,000 people total. They have like a Walmart and maybe not a Safeway or a Superstore. It's called Extra Foods. So they have a Extra Foods and a Walmart. We load up, we get all our stuff, and we're in there, and we realize that we have to buy our meals. So we say, okay, what do we want for breakfast? What do we want for lunch? What do we want for our snacks? We walk out of there with eggs, a pack of bacon, 20 hot rods, like those pepperoni sticks, and 48 hot dogs.
Ew.
That's it. And so we get in the car and we start driving towards Bowen Lake. Some of you may have heard of Barkerville. So we have to stop in Barkerville on our way through. Got some good pictures. And on the dirt road from Quesnel to Bowen Lakes, it's about an hour and a half. We saw 5 black bears. A couple ran right in front of our truck. And we saw the last black bear 2 minutes before we arrived at our campsite. So we showed up at our campsite. We get all set up. The bugs are really bad. And this is like training ground for Jake. This is him. He's practicing for tree planting.
You're in the bush.
We're in the bush. He's running around. He's setting the tent up. He's handing out the bug spray. He's brought these like 4-liter milk jugs, and he's filled them with water, and he's taped the headlamps around them, and he's got like these milk jug lanterns placed around the tent and around the campsite. He's over there on the axe. He's chopping the wood. He's doing it all. So that night, I think each of us ate like 9 hot dogs, and then that was all we had was hot dogs, and we were cooking them up, put the fire out, and then we went to sleep. I was pretty scared to sleep that night. I'm not gonna lie, with all the bears around. We heard like quite a few noises in the middle of the night. So I'm sure the little Bernstein bears came to visit us. But the next day we woke up and we were cooking our food. We were cooking bacon. So we had like a huge thing of bacon, and we ended up with about like 2 inches of bacon grease in the bottom of the pan. And this smell was just like permeating throughout the forest. Everyone, all the bears included, they would have got attracted to it. And we were wondering, we're like, okay, well, like, what are we going to do with all this bacon grease? Like, where are we going to put it? So we end up pouring it down the sink of like this outhouse kind of weird sink setup, like far away from our camp. Then that kind of comes back to bite us later. But we ended up renting a canoe. So we took this canoe out, loaded up the cooler, loaded up our stuff, and I brought fishing rods for Cole and myself.
Fishing again.
Yeah, and Jake had dual fishing rods this time. He was like 2-fisting the fishing rods. So we loaded up in the canoe, and we were in the canoe from 10 a.m. to 7:45 p.m.
What?
All we ate, hot rods, cookies, trail mix, and Sleeman Honey Browns.
Hot rods are gross, especially after a day.
The nutritional value of a hot rod is 8 grams, not 8 grams of protein. The whole thing is 8 grams. So that's all we were eating. I think Jake had to pee in a bottle like 5 times throughout the day and dump it over the side. But for the first, from like 10 a.m. to about 7 p.m., nothing. No fish, not a single bite. We got rained on. We can toss some pictures in here, but absolutely nothing. Everyone was getting frustrated. Jake insisted on sitting in the back of the canoe, the steer's position, and we would paddle around, and he would get us to paddle around so that he could troll like fish with both his fishing rods and not paddle. So we were paddling along the lake like this because we had no one to steer because he was too busy fishing. He said he wasn't able to steer. And then finally at, I guess when would it be? Finally at 7:30, after all this paddling and being in the canoe, we started catching some fish. From like 7:30, from about 7 to 8, every single cast we caught one. I think we caught like 25 fish. Cole caught his
25?
first fish. Yeah, we caught a lot. They were all junk fish, but all bottom feeders, but we got some good pictures for them. So then, we packed things up, went back, and returned the canoe, and then we were cooking our dinner, and we still had about 30 hot dogs remaining that we had to eat. So we started slamming some top dogs, and then we went to bed for the second night with the bears. Got up early the next morning, and this was Sunday. And so this was when I had to drop Jake off at the tree planting camp, drop Cole off, and then drive myself back home. So we started the day at about 9. We had to drive an hour back to Cole's house. We saw a bear along the way again. So now our bear count is up to 6. Drove an hour back to Cole's house. Then we dropped him off there. Then Jake and I drove an hour to Prince George. Then we drove like an hour and 15 minutes outside of Prince George, like just straight into the forest, down a dirt road and everything. And so now we're at a total of like 3 hours and 15 minutes of driving. And we get there, and I honestly almost felt bad leaving him there. It was like, I kind of felt like I was on the moon. There was tents set up, and like eating hall tents. There's no one at the camp because they were all out planting. There was one guy, there was one cook there. He was like this French Canadian guy with an accent, and we showed up, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, like they are out planting, and they won't be back until like 7 p.m. So just put your stuff anywhere, and yeah, then we'll see." So we unload his stuff. There's like garbage everywhere. It looked pretty bad, and I just unload his stuff. It's all sitting there in a pile. He takes his camping chair out, and he just sits there, and I leave him there just sitting in the middle of the forest, and he's just he just sits there in the rain for hours until the people come back. And this is like in grizzly bear country, black bear country. There's like garbage everywhere. Yeah, I left him there. That's his new home for 2 months, permanent campsite.
Oh. And it's at
Yeah.
high altitude too, because it's up north.
Yeah, exactly. It's so high. We drove for so many hours uphill, but we finally got there. I left him there, and he was trying to like plan his attack for some of the cuties in the tree planting camp. Those were his words. So I leave him, and I have to start driving home. I've been driving 3 hours and 15 minutes already. So naturally, rather than driving the fastest way home, I decide I'm going to take the scenic route. So I drive back to Prince George, hour 15 minutes. I'm up to 4.5 hours of driving. And from Prince George, I decide to take the Yellowhead Highway. This highway is going to take me 9 hours and 55 minutes to get home. I've already put in a solid 4.5. So I leave Prince George. I cut across towards McBride, go through McBride, go through Valemount, miss the turnoff for Jasper, go through Clearwater.
Jasper?
Yeah.
In Alberta?
Yeah, that's right. I would have been in between McBride and Valemount. If I had taken the Jasper turnoff, I was like 30 minutes away from Jasper. I could have popped into Edmonton. So we were driving. I was driving alone. I slammed about like 10 iced coffees. Finally made my way all the way down to Kamloops. Drove down through Merritt. Made it back home to Chilliwack at 12:55 a.m. So I had been driving since 9 a.m. Finally got home at 12:55 a.m. I'm basically a long haul trucker. Like there could have been a movie made about me. It was, yeah.
Yeah, so
By the end of the day, by the end of the whole trip, our bear count was up to 8.
wow, that's kind of like a normal day for me where I'm
Yeah.
from. But you know, I'm not trying. I won't pile too hard on Jake, but as I mentioned last podcast, we had a bit of a basketball match set up. So I think that was last Tuesday, maybe. I think that's when we played. And Austin, another teammate of ours, came out, and we'll have him on sometime as well. And it was just we have 3 very different bodies. Like I'm like super skinny and short. Austin is quite tall and lanky, and Jake's like a bruiser down in the post.
Just like a specimen.
Yeah. So I've been playing a decent amount. Like I think I'm gonna win. Like I don't know, not a big deal, but like and but like Austin step back is insane just because he's so
he was
tall.
good?
He was pretty good. Like he had he's pretty tall, and he just like kind of just steps back.
He's like Kevin Durant.
Yeah, exactly.
He got Dirk Nowitzki out there.
Yeah, so he was giving me a bit of trouble, and then Jake in the post was just bodying me.
Yeah,
like I was
no skills.
I was bruised up by the end of it. So, but you know, I still won. We played kind of king of the court to 11, where if you score, you stay in. And Austin was up, I think, at like he was the first to get to 6, and then I kind of dominated the rest of the way. I got won that game. And then Jake's like, oh, let's play another game to like 7, and I was like, all right. And then I was down a bit early on, and I came back, and I always knew I was gonna win. So I won the second game. And then Jake just couldn't let it go. And he's like, let's play a game to 1.
Yeah.
And I was like,
talking
all right.
some huge trash he thought he was going to destroy.
I was like, all right, you can have the ball first too. I don't care. So, and then I think we both missed one shot. And then I have the ball. Little jab, step up, fake jab, step up, fake, and then take it to the rim, get absolutely bodied. I called a foul. And then he was like, oh, is that actually a foul? And I was like, I don't even want the ball. You can take it. I bet on myself. And so I let him take it. I'm like, I just have to play lockdown defense. This is a game to 1. And I stopped him, and then I hit probably one of the nicest fadeaway jumpers you've ever seen in real life to win. So I won all 3 games. So I was kind of on a high about that game for the last 3 weeks. And then I'm pretty much a professional athlete in about 5 sports at this point. So basketball, I'm playing a lot of. Obviously, I'm kind of running a bit still. And running's my amateur sport.
Yeah.
I'm training hard baseball-wise. And yesterday, played some tennis. Now, the friend I play with tennis is Johan. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. And he always has my number. Like, we always play close games, but he always beats me. And yesterday we met up to play, and he beats me 6-2 in the first set. So I'm not one of these days again. I fight back. I win 6-3 in the second set. I think I got my swagger back. And third set comes around. Back and forth all day. Rally's insane. I'm hitting shots I never thought I would be. Slicer here, forehand here. And
Arena.
Yeah, and it's a tie. So it's 6-6. We have a tiebreaker. And I forgot. I'm dealing with a blister right now.
Yeah.
It was not easy, and but I lost the tiebreaker. It was devastating. It was tough. You can probably count on one hand how many times I've beaten him. And we've played a lot over the years, so it's tough, but you win some, you lose some. Hopefully I can learn from this and I can become a better tennis player. But yeah, other than that, my life's pretty boring at this point. Just playing sports all day at the house by myself. I took the bat out the other day for some swings. That's where I got my blisters from. But other than that, that's kind of
just some air swings, like no ball.
No, off the tee in the backyard. Yeah, I was taking some big hacks, but other than that, nothing too exciting. And when you were talking about the camping trip, I had one more NBA thought, and then this is going to end the pod.
Okay, this is a good way to end.
So, what do you think Kuzma's going to do for his clothing?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like,
he needs. I know how many suitcases is he going to bring? Like, where's he going to put it all?
Yeah, exactly. So, and this last thought's just going to end it. I'm just going to say this, and we're going to stop. You think one of his outfits is just going to be a mask and nothing else? See you next week.